when you have someone else to bounce off, life gets that bit easier. When we're by ourselves, worrying about our business, like I used to be, my husband works for somebody else. He has no concept of running your own business except looking at me. And then he just makes comments, I haven't seen you work this hard in years. Why, you're working really hard. What's going on? I hope you're not just exhausting yourself. So he's making lovely comments, but he can't understand what it's like to run a business. No one can except somebody else who's trying to run a business. And so being with a group of like-minded people really, really helps. If you can't be with a group of like-minded people for whatever reason, and you are reliant on the sound bites from Facebook, then can you create your own group of people from college? Do you remember your colleagues from college? Can you connect with them? Hello and welcome. Mentoring with Geraldine is a bite-sized practitioner podcast for naturopaths, nutritionists, herbalists, and practitioners. This podcast responds directly to your needs, the needs of the practicing natural therapist. With interviews, herbal discussions, something business and something clinical each week, you'll get the variety you need and enjoy to stay motivated in practice. Hello, and welcome to Mentoring with Geraldine and the Bite Size Podcast. How are you today? What's going on with you? I've been looking through some of the groups, and with the people that I work with a lot of people in my various courses and groups. So you probably heard I've got the academy where we talk about business and success and all of the things that are going to help us. There's a lot in there about interviewing, sorting out the client, helping the client, not the answer to their illness question. That's what I do in the groups and in my next level group, but rather how to get them on board, how to encourage them to do what they need to do. There is a course actually coming up on this in a little while, but all of these things are in the academy, and I've got a big group in there. Of course, there's the Facebook group, Strictly Education and Support, which I'm in once a week, giving advice and talking and going through, and that I do clinical topics in there. And then, of course, I belong to lots of other Facebook groups. And often things go in a little bit of a theme. So, 1 week people will be saying, which money system should I use? By the way, just as an aside, I always suggest Stripe. But, or which, system should I use to host my course? I've got 3 or 4 suggestions there. But it's all of these different questions come up, and they tend to come in a flow as to what people are doing at the time. People might be all writing programs at the time, and so it's, where do I host? How do I accept money? Does anyone use Facebook for advertising? Does anyone use Facebook, especially the new sales part of Facebook? What's everybody using at the moment and things like that. But just at the moment, I'm noticing that people are saying, I haven't had a lot of clients right now. Things are slow for me. I'm sure it's not just July. It's just the way things are. I'm feeling this negative. It's not happening for me. So I wanted to come in here today and talk to you and help you out. Help you with your mindset, because it gets to us all and you are not alone. Okay, so I do talk about this a bit, and I may well have said about this in my podcasts in the past, how years and years ago, every July, I'd say to my husband, nobody loves me, I'm going to give up, this is terrible, and yet at Christmas time, I have, over the summer, I have very few clients as well, because I work with families and children, so we do a lot of build up towards the summer. I see the clients, towards the end of the school year, and then I very strategically plan a few days in the holidays when I see people, and then I'd come back full on to work. And so the strategy over the summer never bothered me, because it was a full strategic plan of when I wanted to go away, when I knew my clients would want to go away, what I could do whilst I was away, and what I can have organised for them, so that, telephone catch-ups and things like that, rather than everyone having to come in, so that over the summer people would be as fast as possible seeing me with maximum result. Whereas during the winter, people just leave, they go away, or if they don't go away, they're feeling really close and insular, and they want to stay in their homes. They want to keep, sit in front of the fire. They want to read the book. And they're eating often very nourishing foods because they're at home and they're cooking. So during July, I would always have this total dead spot in my calendar, and I'd have nobody booked in, and I'd say, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Nobody loves me. I'm rubbish. And hubby, it was about third year in a row, turned around and said, you know what? I'm pretty sure that you say this every July. Why don't you go back and check your books? And back in the day, the way to check my books was literally to pick up my old diaries and go through my old diaries and see. And I picked them up and there was July empty. Now, of course, I can just look on Stripe and I can see when people are paying me. I can see when my best months are, and it's a lot easier than it used to be. But it's still the same thing, whether you've got a paper diary or whether you've got a diary online. You can look back and you can see, when was I busy? When were my peaks? When were my troughs? And rather than doing the, I'm rubbish, I'm useless, nobody loves me, have I made the right choice? We have to realize that within the first 3 years of business, there is a change, because there will be times when you think, you know what, solo business isn't actually for me, or I need to combine my private business with working for somebody else. Now, I've done that for years and years and years. So 2020 was the first year when I didn't work for anyone else. So I did for the first 3 weeks of the year, then they closed the campuses down, and then we were all fired, and then we were all brought back on again, and then we were all let go again at the end of the year. Now, a number of my colleagues have gone to the other colleges, so I could have gone to the other colleges, I guess. I haven't looked, they might not want me, let's be honest, but the simple fact is I looked at it and I just thought, no. I loved going into the city. I loved going into college. I loved seeing the students. It was my day out, to be perfectly honest. I didn't mind working 5 days a week when I was going in, because that one day I'd be in the city and I'd have lunch at Jack Green's, and then once every 13 weeks I'd go to Mandu and have dumplings and all of the things that, the college students did in Adelaide. And it was great fun, and I loved being with them and encouraging them and supporting them. And I'd taken the subject and rather made it my own, so that everyone was in it had, a real long-term understanding of clients, and they worked very differently to be able to develop that relationship. So when I look back at the students that I remember from my classes, I can see that they're still in business, right? And that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I love that. And that's what I'm all about, helping people to make sure that their business succeeds. And it is okay to have what's been termed a sandwich job. I really loved mine. I mean, working for college, I'd make far more money just seeing a couple of clients in a day than I would, getting in the car. I didn't need to get in the car at all. I could have got the bus, but I would generally get in the car, drive the 15 minutes into the city and to college, and then really enjoy my day with the students. I'd go into town, I'd do all the other things. So, it was yes, they're paying me. Yes, I can work without them. I don't actually need it financially, but I love what I was doing. And when we're working by ourselves, when we're not, a client comes in, sits down, we talk to them for, half an hour, 45 minutes or an hour, and then they leave again, the next one comes in. So we're talking to somebody every day. But it's not the same as being in an environment where there are other people, where there's other people working with you, whether it be in a health food shop or whether it be lecturing or whatever the other job is. There's the aspect of being with a group of people. Now, that aspect is what I work on in the academy, and my next level group, the people you automatically get the academy. If you do one of my larger courses, for the time you're on that course, you're automatically in the academy, so you can check it out and enjoy it. But it's just, when you have someone else to bounce off, life gets that bit easier. When we're by ourselves, worrying about our business, like I used to be, my husband works for somebody else. He has no concept of running your own business except looking at me. And then he just makes comments, I haven't seen you work this hard in years. Why, you're working really hard. What's going on? I hope you're not just exhausting yourself. So he's making lovely comments, but he can't understand what it's like to run a business. No one can, except somebody else who's trying to run a business. And so being with a group of like-minded people really, really helps. If you can't be with a group of like-minded people for whatever reason, and you are reliant on the sound bites from Facebook, then Can you create your own group of people from college? Do you remember your colleagues from college? Can you connect with them? What about going, if you're in, well, not at Sydney at the moment, but in Sydney, the NHAA have a really active chapter, and in Brisbane in the past they've had, the Gold Coast in the past, they've had active chapters there as well. The Adelaide one, which is rather reliant on me, isn't that active at the moment because I'm just so busy. So, but if you're in Adelaide and you want to run the chapter, get in contact and I will totally help you out. So the thing is, what I really want to say is you can do this, but there is a mindset that we need to enable within ourselves. And that is the mindset of organisation and communication. So organising ourselves so that we have the time to do what we need to do, when we need to do it, where we need to do it, all of those things. So diarising your time. And I talked a couple of podcasts ago about making sure that, what do you do in the 24 hours? Are you being really proactive or are you being really reactive? And the other thing is something that I heard about, and I can't remember when, it was a good while ago, is living in lack, if you lack something. So I am an extremely positive person. Everything about me, I will reframe. If something's negative, I will reframe it automatically. I can't help that. That is who I am, and that is my base me, that is my resilience. But some people aren't like that, and I do totally understand. Some people are like that. But we do have to look at the negative side, because for me it's now subconsciously looking at the negative side and going, I need to change this. But for many of us, it's consciously looking at that negative self-talk, that negative, oh, nothing's working for me, I hate myself, oh, this is terrible, and saying, how can I change my mindset around this? How can I change my physical aspect around this? Maybe when I'm being negative, it's simple as standing up from my desk, jumping up and down, and getting the blood to flow. Or maybe it's harder. Maybe it is doing meditations. Maybe it is doing tapping. Maybe it is, keeping a diary, a gratitude journal. Because all of those things are free and you can learn to do those things. Gratitude journal you're doing is, you don't even need to buy paper and pen. If you've got a computer, then you can type it in to your computer. But we need to, as my mother would say, turn that frown upside down. And we all need to do it all of the time. And it's not just you. If you're feeling a little bit put out at the moment, if you're feeling a little bit down in the dumps, it's not just you. There's a lot of that going on because life is so different to what it was. But at the same time, it's the same. At the same time, we still have billions of people on the planet who need our help. We just need to talk to them about outcomes. We need to talk to them about how we can support them, what the result will be from working with us, and how we can support them in the long term. So I hope this has been a positive podcast. I hope that what you're going to gain from this is, number one, you can do it. Number two, if you can't turn that frown upside down and into a smile, then maybe do what every school teacher says, and that's go and have a drink of water and run around. And it might just be what you need to realign, to reassess. And the other support systems that are really good, motivational meditations. And if you type into YouTube anti-procrastination music, it's binaural beats, and there's anti-depression ones there, anti-everything sitting in there. And they will really help to spruik up your mood and to help you to do what you need to do. Maybe it is just create that list, then break that list down, then choose the top thing off that list, break that top thing down and start on one of those things. Because we have talked about the 2-second rule in the past as well, and using the 2-second rule to support you to get things done. Because often we're overwhelmed. Often we don't know where to start. And so if we can get that 2-second rule enacted, like we talked about a month or so ago, then chances are you'll be able to do a lot more than you've thought. You'll be able to achieve a lot more than you were thinking you could achieve, and you're going to be able to gain a lot more. So please reach out, connect. you can book a focus call with me on my website, geraldineheadley.com. There's the link right at the top to book a focus call. So if you need help and support, you can get 15 minutes of my time and book a focus call and chat with me and see what I can do to help. So I really want to leave you on a positive note today that you can do this. You are totally capable. And yeah, it's a brave new world out there right now. But you know what? You're in that brave new world and you are that brave new person, and you're going to do really well in whatever you choose. Thanks so much for joining me today. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast for the weekly episodes. If you'd like even more support and learning, then the Academy is for you. Here you'll find part 2 of the herbal discussions, more clinical learning, and case studies to support your clients in practice. Bye for now.